When I was growing up, we had different leaders. We had actual leaders. We had people that we could say, hey, I want to be like him, or I want to be like her. She made it to this. She wrote about this. She won a Nobel Peace Prize. He won a Nobel Peace Prize. He was able to get to this level in his career. Well, who do we have today for that? Who do we have for our kids to say, hey, I want to be like that person, or I want to do what they did? Well, I have nobody. And the crazy part about it is, when we do have people who reach a certain point in their career as far as legacy, where we can actually say, oh, they have a legacy, it's either shot down or dragged through the media for some, I'm not going to say unforeseen reason, but I'm not going to say benign, but it's crazy how they get drugged through the media, cancel culture, or either they tragically die or they end up serving jail time. And then it's like, don't put all your weight in them. They just did this, they just did that. So really, who do we have to lead our culture? Who do we have to believe in? Who do we have to inspire our kids? Nobody. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got today's celebrities. We have today's artists. But I don't think I want my kids to be inspired by today's artists. No offense. Very creative. Love their artwork. But it's not at the same point where 20 years ago artwork and creativity was. No, not there. Not to me. Then again, it's my opinion. So no, I wouldn't want my kids to be inspired by today's artists, R&B, hip hop, or today's celebrities. I mean, what do they do besides give us great, decent movies or great, decent TV shows? But outside of that, what do they do? So who's inspiring your kids? Who's educating your kids? Most of you probably say, well, that's what they go to school for. Yeah, very true. Very true. That is what they go to school for. But on the flip side, who's teaching them about themselves? They're learning about themselves in school? No. They're learning about their color in school? No, because it's not taught. It's not taught. And let's face it, most of our kids go to public schools, which they're led by the government, because government feeds the funding to the school. So which means the government has the right of say so for the school to say, okay, well, this is what's going to be taught in school. And if you've noticed, every so often, the curriculum, it changes. Like now, my kids aren't learning about their history. They're learning about their city's history, which, granted, that's good to know. That's good to know. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to dive down into the nitty gritty of actual history of Richmond, Virginia. Pretty sure it's not. It's going to do the whole sweet coverall, over the top. Everything was fancy. Everything was great. History. That's pretty much what they're getting. They're not getting down to the bone. You know, what shook the core? History. They're not getting that. And then when it comes to our leaders, you know, at one point in time, we did have leaders. I could speak to Rosa Parks. I could speak to Martin Luther King. I could speak to, you know, Marcus Garvey. I could speak to a lot of leaders before our time. But we learned about them in school, which inspired us to say, hey, we actually got a chance to do this too. We got a shot at this. We can do this. We can change it and manipulate it to where it would fit for us. But do they have that now? No. Because honestly, the only time that you hear about a leader, a Black leader, is when the Black community is going through some type of turmoil where there's a lot of bloodshed within the Black community, or there's a lot of criminal activity that's done upon the Black community by another race. That's when you hear from the Black leaders. That's when they stand up and say, oh, I'm going to be here for this family. I am for the Black community. Black lives matter. But after everything is done and it's off the TV, off the news, where do they go? Back to their hiding spots. Because outside of that, do you hear from them? Do you see them trying to push us forward? Do you see them trying to build us up? No. Only when there's bloodshed or criminal activity upon the Black race. Well, what about in the times when there's not really none of that going on? Who's feeding us? Who's giving us the fuel to keep fighting? Who? And who is inspiring our kids? Who are our kids saying, hey, I want to grow up and I want to be like him or her? I want to do the things that they did, but I want to change it up a little bit more or make it a little bit better for myself or my community or my family. Who's doing it? Now, granted, we got some great mothers out there, some great fathers, great providers. That's all great. That's all great. But I believe in this saying that it says it takes a village to raise a child. So it's not just left upon those parents to push that child forward, to inspire that child. It's also things outside of the home. So if our kids are outside of the home and they really don't see nothing, where do you think our kids' future is going? Granted, not taking nothing away from no family member, no mother, no father, no parent, because I'm pretty sure there are parents out here who can push and make sure that their kids strive for success. Not saying that you can't. But I just want y'all to understand that things have changed over time. And I don't think nobody else is realizing this. How we really don't have nobody to look up to and say, hey, we can do it too. We'll have that no more. We'll have nobody pushing saying, no, even though we're faced with this, we can do this. And I think it's a forgotten saying. Like, I really do, because I don't see it. That's the same thing with faith. Where are we pulling our faith from? Where are we pulling it from? Because I know at one point it was about religion or spirituality. That gave people something to believe in, something to have faith in, so that they can continue another day, no matter what is thrown their way. Hey, I believe I can do this because I got faith in whoever your spiritual realm is. So what's going on there? Why don't we have it? Why don't we have it? Because faith, religion, spirituality, all of that stuff right now is looked upon as if it's negative. It's like it's negative. When it's not. It allowed people to have hope. It allowed people to go to bed at night, after having a bad day and wake up the next morning. It's okay because I'm going to put one foot in front of the other and I'm going to keep going. Not saying that people aren't doing that the same in today's society, but it's not the same. Nobody believes anymore. It's like people don't believe in themselves. Where is it all going? And to me, as a Black person, I feel as though we need it. It's like we're forgetting ourselves. And it's a bit crazy. But I really want to know, who inspire your kids? Who's educating them? Who's teaching them about themselves? Who? Want to know. Really want to know.